She walks up and goes, "You need to step out of the vehicle. You're under arrest." And I was like,
no way.
No. They caught me, and she's like, "You're going to jail." And I
okay, wait.
like, I can't.
Back up. Your house burned down?
Oh, no. Yeah.
You just like slipped that in there.
This is way too short of a podcast.
First off, you're my first podcast guest that's ever flown in.
I am.
To do a podcast. So thanks for doing that. Thanks for flying in to...
Yeah, it's a fun weekend trip.
Yeah, hop on the podcast. And, I mean, we didn't just do the podcast, right? So you flew in at midnight.
Yeah, midnight last night.
We stayed up till like 1:30, and then we woke up and we went right to cold plunge.
Gym.
Coffee. And then we did kind of like a podcast 1, and now we're back for the official podcast, and we filmed some content
in the car.
On the car. So
yeah, been super fun.
We packed it a lot into a day.
Yeah.
Run everyone through a little bit of your story about how you got into fitness, because I believe fitness kind of started at first before all like your protein products and all that kind of stuff. The gateway to all that was just starting your Instagram account with fitness, and you're like, oh, I don't want to just start another fitness account as a gym bro, which is a guy posing in the mirror, getting views. I want to like provide something with a little more value.
Yep.
So how did that start?
I just started working out with my dad before work. He would take me to the gym with him before he'd go to work at like 13, 14, couple days a week. Then I got super serious about it once I could drive, and then put on 50 pounds in a year.
Wow.
And that transformation was like, I was a different person. Mm-hmm. I felt different about myself. Like my confidence was through the roof. Mm-hmm. And then I started talking about it. And one morning I was talking to Dad about like, oh, Dad, you have to have more protein in your breakfast because of this and this and this, especially like you're in your 40s. You don't want muscles to start deteriorating. Mm-hmm. And he's like, if you know all this, you've learned this the past couple of years, why don't you start sharing it with other people? And so I wanted my fitness account to not just be like going through posing routines, because there's like 100,000 other guys with better physiques than me.
Right.
So I can't stand out there, and that's not what I want to provide. Like I want to provide value and help people have a transition like I did. Mm-hmm. So I started doing it September of last year.
So only from September of last year.
Yeah.
And that's a couple of months will be a year. So even like 10 months-ish, 9 months. And then from that, you had gyms reach out to you?
Yeah.
How did that happen? I
had a gym reach out to me to where I'm personal training right now. Is they messaged me on Instagram. They had seen that I'd posted videos on, they'd see that I'd posted workout videos from other gyms in the area.
Okay.
So they messaged me and they were like, hey, is there any chance you live in the area? We need a personal trainer. And so I just got home from my workout, got in the shower, saw that message, and then drove to meet them. And I didn't realize I was being interviewed until he was like, I really like you. This is going to work.
Oh.
And I was like, wait.
We were just having a conversation.
We were just talking about gym stuff, and he was asking me what I do for fitness, what I do for my diet, all this stuff. And it was just like a normal conversation that I would have with anybody. And then he was like, yeah, I like you. This is going to work. And I was like, I guess I just passed an interview. That was the first interview I'd ever done. And I didn't even know I was being interviewed. So it was pretty cool. And then 2 days later, I trained my first client.
Just like that?
Yeah. Never trained anyone before. It had just worked out for myself, knew what worked for me. Mm-hmm. And they kind of threw me in. I think it was on purpose to try to like test me.
Okay.
And like, is he going to figure it out?
Right into the deep end.
Yeah. And so they were like, hey, Grant is your first client. You train him Monday, and just went for it.
So did you go through a little like panic mode? Like, shoot, I got to watch YouTube videos and stuff, like how to like train somebody. What do I say? What do I do? Like,
I was YouTube videos on the computer. I was like, how do I tell someone if they're doing something wrong?
Right.
Like, because I don't want to just be in there and like make him feel like he's somebody stupid for doing for him. Because I mean, like, that's why I'm there, is to help him.
Right.
But I don't want him to take it wrong. So yeah, YouTube videos. And then I have a friend of a friend who used to be a personal trainer. Okay. I'm calling him like, I don't know what to do. I just got a job as a personal trainer. Never trained anyone before. It's like, I've helped some friends with like, sent them a workout program, stuff like that, but never actually trained anyone until then.
So how many clients do you have now that you're training?
I've got 6 clients right now.
Okay.
They're in rotation. I have 2 that do weekly, and then the other people do every other week.
Okay.
And they're kind of, there's one that not very consistent. I'm really trying to work on getting him there every week. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So were you working with any other personal trainers at their gym?
Funny story. No, I'm the only one.
Okay.
I'm the only trainer. The past 2 actually stole from the gym. So they made my job pretty easy.
So they made the hiring process easy.
Hiring process
do you
easy.
Steal?
Yeah. Are you a felon?
Have you been in jail?
Nope.
And you're like,
Yeah. So yeah, really bad experience with the past 2 trainers is what I've heard. So me basically doing my job and not stealing and helping people work out. But I love it. I don't understand like that's an actual job. Doesn't seem real because I just get to help people and work out all day.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not working out all day with them because I'm like more focused on their workouts. Right. But then I'm making phone calls to clients or like future clients, trying to get them to come in, have a consultation with me, an in-body scan, just so I can get a face-to-face connection. Because once I have someone in person, I know I can get them to train with me. Just over the phone, there's like a catch-up that they're just scared of.
Yeah. So you just gotta get them in the door. And once they're in the door, it's a lot easier to like talk with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So now, how involved are you in that gym as far as like expanding it, growing it? Like, are you bringing a lot of people in? Are they gonna have to?
That's actually been super fun because they're building or just finished construction on a 5,000 square foot warehouse.
Wow. Okay.
So they've got a 5,000 square foot building that has the garage doors to let in all the natural light, but they have no equipment in there yet. And so I've got to talk with the owner a bunch of like, hey, where should I put this? And then I was like, hey, this pull-up bar, like I'm not even that tall. I'm 6'1", and I can just reach up and grab it. Like I can't do dead hangs or anything. And so I'm like, hey, we need a pull-up bar that tall people can do pull-ups from. We need this and a few things. And they've been super open about that, walked me through and like kind of given a layout and helped me, or I've been able to help on where to put some stuff. Like you can't have the hip abduction machine in the middle of the gym facing the door. It is just, that's off limits.
No one's going to ever use it.
No, it won't get touched.
It's some blind person who doesn't realize where it's at in the gym is going to use it. But kudos to them for working out, you know? Like, you win some, you lose some.
Don't scare blind people from working out. They'll never do that.
Well, that's why they need a personal trainer, because they can't see their form.
Exactly.
So
if you're blind, call me.
You got to market there. If they're blind, they're not watching this. Maybe listening to it, but they're not watching it. From there, how did that transition now to not only are you training people, but now you're actually creating supplements and products for people to take?
Yeah. So that actually happened the other way around.
Did it really? Okay.
I started the supplement company like 4 months before I started training.
Okay.
So it was a school project that had me build a mock business, and I thought it was pointless to go through all the steps of creating a product, customers, a fake website if I wasn't going to do a real business. I was like, why go through all the steps and hassle if I could actually make money off something? And I think that's something that is like a mindset shift that I grew up with. My family was always doing something entrepreneur. Like when I was little, we all played travel sports. That's expensive. We did not make a lot of money. But my dad always taught us that like it was never an option to just be like, oh, we don't have it.
Too much.
It's too much. Like I remember when I was little, he would get up in the morning. We'd make muffins, or like mom would make them the night before. We'd go deliver newspapers to the newspaper delivery boys at like 4 a.m.
Wow. Then
he would go to work, wash windows, pressure wash, everything. Then come to our games at night, and then after that, go deliver phone books for people to deliver the next morning.
Wow.
So he worked so hard to provide for us and to teach us like what a work ethic should be. And so it was just always like, since I was little, we've always been doing something.
Yeah, it's not like we can't do that. It's like how.
Exactly. You don't have to have money to like live the life you want to live. You just be creative and figure out ways to get there.
Right. And so fast forward now, you are in a situation where you need to do a mock business for a school project. And you're like, wait, hold up. My whole life, we've always been like making money.
We've always been creating money out of nothing.
Why can't this be a real thing?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I started brainstorming, and funny thing is, I told my mom the solution that I needed to solve, but I wasn't seeing it. So I was like, I have no idea what to do for business. I could do clothes, but there's so many t-shirt brands, like all this random stuff. And then like 5 minutes later, I was like, I can't find any affordable, healthy protein powder. Like it's not out there.
Right.
And she's like, Blaze, you just gave me the solution. Go do it. Go figure it out. Like you just told me the problem you had and then said I need to create a solution for something. Boom. And she's like, there it is.
It's perfect.
So started researching that, went to Gracie and was like, hey, this is my idea. I want you to invest into it. We didn't know how much it was going to be. But as soon as she found out, she was like, no questions. It was just like, here you go. And then she was like, I want a 50% profit split on all the inventory I invest in.
Oh, so
like,
she had some. She wasn't just like lending brother some money. She
no,
had
it was
some,
like Shark Tank.
Okay, it was Shark Tank.
Yeah.
She's getting a little something out of it.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
but I mean, I'm glad to, because I couldn't have started it without her.
Right.
I went to, I mean, I was kind of oblivious to the fact that like there's like stages of business.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up the best supplement manufacturer in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Found it, sent him an email. Didn't get a response. Sent him another email. 3 weeks later of emails, no responses.
Nothing.
So during that 3-week period, I researched like what you need in a supplement blend for protein powder, like the minimum ingredients, because I don't want a laundry list of stuff.
Right.
I wanted it affordable, healthy, and like no additives, all natural, everything.
Clean.
Yeah. And that's why it's called Clean Way.
Okay, there you go.
And so I walked in after 3 weeks and not getting a response. I walked in.
You're not walking into like an office. You're walking into like a manufacturing
No,
plant.
yeah, huge, like 100,000 square foot warehouse.
Wow.
And I just walk in the front door and they're like, do you have an appointment? And I was like, no, I'm here to start a business. And they're like, the lady just starts looking around. She's like, let me go get Scott. And so then I was like,
you're like, is Scott the security guard? Is he going to kick me out? Who's Scott?
Who's Scott? Scott's actually the general manager of the place. And he loved me. So it worked. He called me into the conference room. Felt like I was in a movie.
Yeah.
It was like 20 office chairs, a big TV,
the long table,
oh, yeah, the fridge. He's like, hey, slaps a stack of papers, and he's like, make yourself a coffee. The fridge is full of snacks and drinks if you need it. I'll be back in 10 minutes. So I have 10 minutes
and
of
you're just like
sitting there. I'm 16.
What do I do?
Yeah. Oh, I was completely lost.
I bet.
And then it went back and forth so many times. In my head, I was like, I'm 16 years old. I've made it. Like, I'm sitting in a conference room about to sign a business deal with the best manufacturer in the country. And then like 30 seconds later, I'm like, why am I here? I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I need to go home.
Where's mom?
Yeah. So then that happened. That was a huge blessing. So there's a huge insurance policy you have to have as a supplement brand, and ended up being a $2 million policy.
Whoa.
And I was like,
you're
looking
like 16,
at that.
You're like, I'm way in over my head.
I'm like, I'm signing something worth $2 million. She's like, no, you're not making $2 million. I was like, yeah, I get that. But like,
we're not giving you $2 million, boy. Calm down.
Yeah. But I'm like, I'm looking at something that had $2 million on it as 16. And I'm like, I don't even know what am I doing? I didn't know the business stuff of that side. Yeah. Of like, wait, what does this mean? How do I get 2 million? Who's getting 2 million out of me? And he was like, you know what? A 16-year-old doesn't need this over his head, and you're never touching the product. This is all in our labs. It's sealed by the time you get it. So he signed it for me.
So he signed the insurance policy for you?
Yes. So that like the company's liable if something happens.
It's amazing.
And it's not over my head if they mess up an ingredient, because I'm like, I don't touch it anyway.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Super, super cool.
So let's talk about them.
Yeah. You tried it this morning. I want to hear.
I tried it this morning. So I tried you
tried the chocolate. You've got yours down there.
Oh, do I have it right here?
Yeah.
Hand that back to you. So I tried the chocolate one.
I want to hear your thoughts.
My thoughts were, so first off, I think for most people that start to get serious about health, one of their first questions is, okay, what's in it? Like before the taste and all this stuff, it's what's in it. Because there's so, like you said, people, what's it called, like amino acid dump?
Yeah.
Or whatever, their protein powders. They have preservatives and just all bad stuff.
Yep.
In their sugar, high fructose corn syrup, which if you're buying a protein powder with high fructose corn syrup, you almost deserve to like.
Well, it's like, at what point are you buying a supplement to get healthier that's destroying your health?
It's like people used to buy sugar coated vitamins.
Yeah.
Like it's like, what in the world is that?
What are you doing?
So you have 7 ingredients, right?
Yes.
So it's like whey protein, cocoa powder.
Yep.
Which is the natural flavors.
Yeah.
So there's nothing hidden in natural flavors.
Yeah.
It's the cocoa powder.
It's cocoa
is the
powder.
natural flavor.
And then this is vanilla extract.
And that's vanilla extract. And then you have like stevia, sea salt, and stevia leaf extract, the other ones.
Yep. And then the anti-caking mix to make it super smooth. And then I have prohydrolase.
Xanthan gum.
Yep.
And then you talk about the prohydrolase.
Prohydrolase is really
right.
cool. Yeah.
You did.
So prohydrolase is really cool. It's a stomach enzyme that helps people digest the protein faster and helps the whey digest without giving any stomach problems. So there's a lot of people, when I tell them whey protein, they're like, oh, I can't do whey. That upsets my stomach. And I'm like, you actually can. You can try this and it won't do anything.
Well, I also noticed when I tried this morning that not only was it really smooth, but it also felt like it was like absorbed very quickly. Like it didn't feel like it was just sitting there in your gut.
It's
just
very
like,
light. It's really
very light. It gets absorbed quickly and it's super clean. So where do people order this?
You can go on blazesupplements.com.
Oh, there it is right
my
there.
website. Yeah. And they actually sell it at my gym in Georgia too.
That's awesome.
So I went to another manufacturer because the one I was working with didn't have the products that I wanted to get into. I wanted to design something new. They didn't have it. So I went to someone else, sent them an email from my business email, said, hey, I just started this supplement brand, looking to make something new and want to work with you guys. A little bit longer than that, but that's summed up.
The gist.
No answer. A week later, no answer. And I was like, in the middle of reading How to Win Friends and Influence People by
Dale Carnegie.
Yes. Great book.
Great book.
I was right in the middle of it, and I was reading about how he writes letters. And so, I mean, letters and emails.
Emails,
it's
same thing.
Business conversations. So as he was learning of not how to manipulate, but basically spark interest in the other person,
right,
to where they want something out of it. And so then I sent him an email from my personal and said, hey, this is Blaze Shetler, owner of Blaze Supplements. So it had some credibility. Right. They didn't know if it was like a startup business
or a multi-million-dollar franchise.
Exactly. So I said, this is Blaze Shetler, owner of Blaze Supplements. I currently work with X, the biggest supplement manufacturing company in the nation. And
that's cool.
So can name drop because I actually got into that.
Right.
So I was like, currently working with X for my protein powder, and I want to work with you, or I want to find someone that can help me do this. Would love to talk and see if you're a good fit for what I'm looking for. So they had to prove something, and just rewording changed everything. 2 minutes. 2 minutes later, get an email back, says, when's a great time to schedule a phone call? I'd love to talk to you.
Just like that.
Just like, it was so fast. So I think if you take a no as a no and get discouraged, then it could ruin a lot. Like, it'll ruin confidence. You won't ask things again because you'll look back and be like, oh, well, they said no about this or this. Whatever negative things have happened in the past, you kind of carry that with you. But when you take a no and push past it and learn from it, and then eventually get a yes out of it, or even if it's not a yes on exactly what you wanted, but if you take a different route to get somewhere instead of just a dead end,
right,
it builds confidence for the next thing you go into.
Right. And that's super important because nobody says no, especially in like the business world. A lot of times 90% of no's or 95% of no's, they're not out of like true conviction. They're just out of the situation. So you could have caught them on a bad day. They could be really busy. Yeah. Something. I mean, if I said, hey, Blaze, do you want to go outside and like, I want you to pitch softballs to me for an hour, you'd be like, I'm good. But if I said, I'll pay you $1,000, you'd be like, I'm there. Yeah. So obviously your no didn't really have that much weight. It was just, you didn't want to do it at the time for whatever reason. But if maybe you were misinformed, maybe I added something to the deal, maybe it's the way I present it, it's something that gets you to relook and rethink about it. And so the first no is...
Because not that it's impossible. It's
exactly.
The person doesn't see value in it for them.
Correct. Yeah, and the first no, it's almost like a counterfeit no. Yeah. It's like a fraud almost. It's not even... It's just something that they almost say without even thinking. Like, no, I'm good.
Especially if it's over the phone and you're talking to someone who doesn't have like a role of management. It doesn't change their pay if they figure out your solution. So it's easier for them to just say no.
Exactly.
Like, didn't you have something about someone told you no? You were just telling me a story about last night.
Yes. So this is last night, right before I picked you up from the airport. I was at an ice cream shop getting ice cream with some friends. And I've been trying to put myself out there more as far as like, just ask, right? Yeah. It's the worst thing that can happen, right? They say no. I'm like, okay, I'll try to ask for a free waffle cone.
Oh, I thought you were going a different route with this. Like, I was going to ask for her number.
Oh. Ask for her number. Yeah. So that's next week. So
whoa.
I was like, because waffle cones are so good, but they're like an extra $1.50, right? So tragic.
$1.50.
It's like $1.50 for a waffle cone, but they're so good. So I was like, I'll ask for a free waffle cone. So I go up to the counter, and there is a little bit of strategy. You got to be a little playful with them. You got to be lighthearted about it. There was a guy, and he's like, I'll take who's next. And I let the other person next to me go because I wanted the girl. Okay? Because, like, everything plays into it. So I waited to the girl.
Because you're getting the number next week. That's what you said.
Exactly. So I wait for her to come up, and I'm like, I say, hey, what are the chances that I can get a free waffle cone? And she goes, And she looks at her coworker, who seemed to kind of be like the manager, who was making like a waffle cone, literally like on the side.
It's like she has the power.
Exactly. And she looks over and she's like, looks at me and she's like, never.
So the worst someone can say is not no. It can get worse.
It can get worse.
Okay.
They can say never. And so I look at her and I go, never? Really? And she's like, yeah, sorry. And I'm like, okay. So I look back to the girls like, okay, well I kind of talking to both of them. And I'm like, okay, like, I was like, well, there's got to be something. What's the best you can do? Like a discount or something? And they're like,
military discount.
Yeah, like, are you a first responder, the military? And I'm like, no. They're like, do you live in the neighborhood? I'm like, I mean, I live in the town.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. And they asked me, I don't remember all the questions, but I'm like, no to all of them. Like, I don't meet any of the criterias.
There is no reason for you to give me a discount, but you still should.
And so she's like, the only way we can give away free ice cream is if it's your birthday, then you get free ice cream.
So
exactly. So I said, so my first question was, I said, well, like, do you check IDs? Like, if I say it's my birthday, will you check? And she's like, no, we don't check. And so, but I didn't feel right.
Yeah, I was about to say that doesn't
feel right. So okay, it's my birthday. Like that's low. I mean, it's not. It'd be like lying, and I don't want to lie. She's like, no, we don't check IDs. If you say it's your birthday, then it's your birthday.
Yeah.
And I said, and she goes, well, just say it's your birthday, and then you can get free ice cream. And I said, well, it's not really my birthday though. I said, I can't do that. That's wrong. It's not my birthday.
That's called lying.
Exactly. And she goes, well, it is your birthday if I say it is. And I said, okay. And she's like, yeah, it's your birthday. So what do you want? You get 3 scoops. And do you want it in a cup or a waffle cone? And I said, I'll take it in the waffle cone.
Okay.
And so I got 3 ice cream scoops plus a waffle cone, all for free. And the amazing part about it is if I was to step back and tell this to someone and just give them snippets, it would be, I asked for a waffle cone for free.
Yeah.
And I was told never.
Uh-huh.
And then I walked out with the free waffle cone plus 3 scoops of ice cream for free. It's a win-win-win.
Yeah.
Her and her coworkers, they were all like in on it. They're like, oh yeah, it's awesome. It's your birthday, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, like if you guys say it is.
You're like, I've already told you it's not. So
I told you it's not. So this is on you.
Yeah.
They know they're giving me free ice cream.
Yeah.
But that's just the power of being
Having
a little persistent, having conversation, being friendly.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't trying to like use some negotiation tactic. I was just like being playful and funny. And they might have been able to say like, no, honestly, there's nothing we can do. I'm like, all right, it's fine. Yeah. Well, I'll get a single scoop of XYZ.
Yeah.
But just trying is the first step. And just, you know, pushing past a little bit of the first no, the first never, being a little playful about it. And putting yourself in the right frame of mind that like, hey, they might say no, and that's cool.
Yeah.
So that way you're not disappointed. I was expecting to not get ice cream.
Yeah, but it's just like,
and I was like, why not ask?
Start a conversation.
I'm already gonna have to pay for this.
Well, a lot of times people think like, oh, if I pick a certain strategy of like, I can get this out of someone, or they're like, oh, well, you're just doing that with your customers because you want this or want more business, and it's like, just being personable. Like I started a conversation in the airport, ended up talking to this pastor for an hour and a half. Felt like 20 minutes. Amazing conversation. Like his flights got changed, so he was bouncing around and ended up being right across from me in the row. And we just had an amazing talk. And just by talking with people opened so many doors.
And there's a lot of opportunities that you just have to step outside your comfort zone just a little bit.
Yeah.
I heard that you don't like racking up points on credit cards. I heard you like racking up points on your driver's license.
Oh my goodness. Who told you that?
So I've heard you driving with suspended license. You get pulled over by state troopers, female cops, all the cops. You get pulled over in trucks. You get pulled over in Suburbans. You get pulled over in your Mustang.
Yeah.
What is it about you that
know.
cops are just like, that's mine. He's mine.
I don't know. I don't know. They like catching fast, loud cars, and I guess that was me for a while. Driver. Yeah. I've tried to slow down recently. Driving a work truck has helped with that. So it's not as easy to drive an old Tundra fast. But
or at least it doesn't look like it's getting driven fast. It's a truck. If you got a sports car, you can be driving the speed limit and they're like, he's speeding.
When a 16-year-old buys a V8 Mustang that's stupid loud,
he's asking
not
for
a good
it.
idea. Yeah, he's asking to get pulled over. It was a cop magnet for sure.
Yeah.
The first Mustang I bought it was a V6 manual, and then I wanted to upgrade. So I sold that Mustang for a profit and then bought another Mustang way undervalued. Ended up making $2,500 off that later because the guy didn't know what was wrong with it and it was a super small fix.
Oh, wow.
So really cool. But I drove way too fast everywhere and it was way too loud. I got tickets for speed, noise, acceleration, probably just looks. I don't even know. No, I seriously don't know. But I get that like it probably came with, they're assuming it comes with a personality.
Yeah.
That I'm like,
they think you're some 6-year-old punk that's like trying to purposely rev up his car to show off. And
I mean, that
I'm
was
not saying that's
me.
what you did, but
I'm like, I'm not trying to show off. It's just for me. I love it.
It's just who I am.
No. I'm digging myself in a hole.
Kind of. I'm helping dig. So were you getting like a ticket every time?
No.
Or were you getting good at
I was pretty good.
Okay, you're good at talking yourself out.
Yeah. I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's that or jail.
That almost happened. So I got pulled over and this lady walks up to me, girl cop. So I was already like,
you're
I'm not
preparing for
getting
the
out
worst.
of this one. I'm not getting out of this one. She walks up and goes, "You need to step out of the vehicle. You're under arrest." And I was like,
there's no way.
No, I didn't. I was going maybe 10 over. It was one of those small speed trap towns. Goes 55, 45, 35, one light.
Exactly.
And they catch you if you don't slow down. They caught me and she's like, "You're going to jail." And I've explained like I can't. And so apparently I had not been served my papers saying that my license had been suspended based off my last 2 tickets. So I had a speeding ticket and then a headlight ticket, which that one's stupid to get 3 points for a headlight. But anyway, she ended up getting in an argument with her supervisor right outside my window of going, "I'm not taking this kid to jail." And her supervisor, I can hear her on speaker. And she's like, "You have no other options. Put him in the back of your car. We're impounding the truck." And so I call my mom and I'm like, "Hey mom," we were on the phone when I got pulled over. So I said, "Mom, getting pulled over, bye." And then I call her back 5 minutes later, said, "Mom, come pick up the truck. I think I'm going to jail." And she's like, "What did you do?" I'm like, "I don't know." And so she finally tells me my license was suspended. And then once she found out I hadn't been served, apparently you have to be like given your papers. Because after our house burned down, we were in a rental and then moved. So it got sent to our old rental. So
I see.
So that's
kind of not their fault, but kind of their fault. Kind of. Actually, not really their fault.
Not really their fault, but I didn't change my address, so it happened. So now if I don't get pulled over again until I'm 18, my points will reset, and then I'll have 9 instead of 4. So
wait,
I can buy another Mustang.
Back up. Your house burned down?
Oh, no. Yeah.
You just like slipped that in there.
This is way too short of a podcast to get into that. Okay. But we could.
But it did.
It did. That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, okay.
Yeah, house burned down, lost everything. We were all asleep inside.
5-second story. How'd you get out?
How'd I get out? I woke up and my bedroom was on fire. Like the wall was on fire. So I woke my little brothers up because they were like right across from me. Woke them up, told them to run outside. Got fire extinguishers. By the time I got upstairs, it was way too big. Like my bed was already on fire. Everything was covered.
Whoa.
So we just got everyone out of the house, and fire department took 45 minutes to show up.
So it was pretty much leveled by the time they got there.
Yeah. There was nothing they could do. It caught the attic and spread across the whole top of the house. No. So it was done. Which I would say is a blessing because we have known of people that their house didn't fully burn down, and the community didn't react the same. They didn't like get them back to their feet as fast because they'll look at it and be like, "Oh, they had a house fire. Yeah, it burned the room." But like, smoke damage killed everything else in the house. Exactly. The whole house is gone. Like you can't save it. But when people see the pictures of our house, a 2-foot pile of ash the next morning, it was pretty crazy.
Well, that's not something a lot of people get to say they've experienced.
No, not something a lot of people want to say they've experienced either.
Yeah. Wow.
There's people our age that are, I'd say, from 16 to young 20s.
Okay.
What would you say they should start doing if they want to, like, not have a regular job? What's the first step they should take to, like, do something abnormal? Like, if they want something bigger in life, what are the steps they should take? Like, just three things they should start doing. 3 steps.
I would say one of the first things they need to do is just to level up themselves. So all the different aspects of that. So, like, fitness.
Yeah.
Right?
It's huge.
Looking fit. Your clothes, right? Wearing nicer clothes, wearing clothes that fit you, right? Clothes that you would wear to a nicer event or something, something like nicer clothes, right? You're not wearing rags, you're not wearing stuff that doesn't fit. And then also third with that is like your personality, trying to like, I'm going to like try to be more friendly. I'm trying to smile more. I'm going to try to be more nice. I'm going to try to, you know, personal development, like, you know, I'm trying to level up how I talk to people, how I answer questions, how I ask questions, like, right?
Communication skills are huge.
Exactly. So every little aspect of yourself, that, because it's the person, right? At the end of the day, it's you.
Yeah.
That's going to make anything happen. And so if you level this up, that is what makes all the difference.
And I think you're saying like, you don't have to wear like the nice name brand stuff to like show.
Exactly.
But my dad's even talked about when he had a business uniform, he switched from just like wearing whatever.
Right.
To now he has a business uniform, the same Wrangler and blue shirt with the name and a business hat. People take him way more serious, that it's not like some guy's side job as a handyman. It's like, oh, this guy runs a company.
1000%. I wear a suit for a lot of the days.
Yeah.
And I don't need to. I kind of work from home, work remote. Especially if I don't have a meeting, even if I do have a meeting, no one's saying like, hey, you need to be wearing a suit.
Yeah.
But I noticed just going about in town, going into a coffee shop, I get treated differently. You know, like if I'm just wearing something a little more casual, you know, you'll walk into the coffee shop, people just kind of give you the once over.
Yeah.
You know, I order my drink and then they'll call out at the bar, hey, Justice, you know, you know, latte's ready at the bar. When I'm dressed up in a suit and I walk in, like I notice people like look at me a little differently. A lot of times they'll bring the drink to me. They don't just call it at the bar. So you get treated differently.
Yeah. Well, people say,
like,
don't judge a book by its cover. Everyone judges a book by its cover.
Exactly. Like, that's why they have to say don't do it, because you do it.
Because
so the default is to do it. So that's why you need to lean into that.
When someone sees you, it might not be right, but they're gonna make assumptions.
Right. How they see you is how they percthen you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So that's huge. That's almost just, I want to say, the biggest thing to that question. And then I would just say, in addition to that, looking for ways to like be more entrepreneurial, is you don't have to try to think big and grand.
Yeah. Like,
how am I going to scale this?
Yeah.
How am I going to be able, I'm not going to make that much money. That's not the point. The point is to get your feet wet.
Yeah.
The point is to just start your brain, the mindset, the process going down the road. So if that means, you know, I'm going to look into selling, you know, some plants at the farmer's market. I don't know anything about plants. I'm not into plants, but at the farmer's market, like, I know they have some booths available and it's like $100 to pop up. Yeah. Let me try to sell something. Maybe it's not gonna be plants. I'm just gonna buy the booth, right, for $100, and I'm just gonna come up with stuff to sell. Yeah. Maybe I can get one of my siblings to make something, make cookies or whatever.
But if you buy the booth for $100, you're gonna figure out something to sell.
You're gonna sell something.
You're not gonna keep pushing it off.
Exactly.
If you have some skin in the game.
And so you're not thinking, how am I gonna scale this and how am I gonna like retire off of this? Yeah. You're not thinking about that. You're just thinking about getting your feet wet, experiencing business, right? Exchanging money, right? Commerce, interacting with people, selling something, and you get experience with that, and you get to have fun with that. Like, ooh, I'm try to charge a little more with this. And I notice if I put the sign this way, you make more. And I've learned some very valuable lessons in their own niche way just from running a coffee cart with my sisters. Yeah. Just doing something where someone could say, oh, you only make a couple $100 off that. Like, this doesn't really have any value, or you're wasting your time doing that. Yeah. Or like, that's not going to be of any worth in the long run. But I still learn lessons from that.
You're learning small business principles throughout the
You're learning principles
throughout the process.
And you're getting your gears turning. You're getting that. You're getting thirsty for like business stuff, and you're getting thirsty for making money. Yeah. And that's what helps motivate you and propel you.
Yeah, because you'll use that as fuel. You said niche. Do you say is niche or niche? I've heard it so many ways.
I was actually talking with another guy on the podcast about this.
You did?
I did. And I think it's in the podcast. I mean, maybe we got clipped out, but I grew up saying niche. Yeah. And then I met a lot of people who said niche.
So I think it's a northern thing. Because
is it? Okay.
We moved from Washington State. Yeah. Everyone up there says niche. Right. We came down here. Everyone says niche.
Yeah, so I do. I normally say niche is my default, but like sometimes if I'm in a conversation with somebody and I hear them say niche, I'll say it back to them. Okay. So I just kind of like let them say the word first.
Mirror.
Yep. Yeah. So if they're going with niche, I'm going with niche. If they're going with niche, I'm going with niche. Yeah. So that's kind of what it is. Blaze,
thanks for having me.
This was awesome.
Super fun.